Welcome to Hockey Nights in Vegas. My name is Eddie Rivkin. I'm a hockey writer for thehockeywriters.com. As always, I am joined by my esteemed co-host, Joe Payne of the Las Vegas Advisor. We're going to talk everything Golden Knights and probably finish it up with the story that just won't seem to end. But before we get into that story, Joe, Game 3, they put themselves in a hole and didn't take long in overtime for them to get in the hole.
They put themselves in a really big hole, and I think at this point, besides the Game 7 that they played, this is today's game, which is going to take place in approximately an hour, is a must-win for the Vegas Golden Knights. If they go down 3-1, they are in trouble.
More trouble? I mean, the statistics bear out that they're going to be in big trouble down 3-1. I think the story of the series is just the back and forth inconsistencies. In Game 1, they just looked like they had a complete sort of an emotional dump. They were skating in mud. It was easily their worst playoff performance in a long time, by a lot. It was like everything from games 5, 6, and 7 and the great Thatcher Demko Wall story and everything like that sort of flooded out of them, but the tank didn't really recharge. They were never really in the game. When Pete DeBoer says we weren't good enough to win, that's the story of Game 1. In Game 2, they looked a lot more like themselves, and it seemed like that was sort of going to be the prevailing way that the games were going to go. And then in Game 3, I think the only thing we could, for sure, they got to score first. But we'll get to Game 4 first. Game 3, biggest takeaway?
Jamie Benn. I think he was a monster for Dallas. He imposed his will on the Vegas Golden Knights. He ran over Ryan Reeves. He manhandled McNabb, threw him around like a rag doll. He got involved in it with tuck behind the net. He scored a goal that I'm sure Robin would like back. How I got through the 5-hole. It literally hit his pad, and then somehow, I don't know, the pad kind of looked like it took a different shape, and the puck got in. And then he set up the winning goal by finding Vegas got unlucky in the overtime. I mean, it was the first overtime is always like similar to the second period. It's the period of the long change, and then Pavelski jumped on the ice. Smith and McNabb were already committed to joining the rush, and he was behind them. And Jamie Benn got the puck along the right boards, and had whereabouts. He saw Pavelski basically standing there. He fired a headman pass up, and from what I understand, the bench was yelling at Pavelski, right wing, and Radulov was flying down the right wing all by himself, and Schmidt never got back, and I think it was Stasny and McNabb tried to catch him, but he had the jets going. He made a great shot too. I mean, he fired it long side. He's coming down the wing on his off wing. Gives him a little bit of a better angle, and we got. When I say the team got unlucky tonight. So it hit the post and went in. It could have very, very easily hit the post and came back out harmlessly, but it didn't. And then was it 31 seconds or 29 seconds of overtime? They're down 2-1, and a really important game today. They go down 3-1. Dallas is a team that I like to kind of compare it to the Ali Ropido, and that's how they're playing. They're not committing any offensive.
They're counterpunching.
What's that?
They're counterpunching.
Yeah. They're pretty much lining everybody up in the neutral zone and saying to Vegas, "God, try to skate through us." Or dump the puck in. And Vegas, for some reason, keeps on trying to skate through them, and it's just not going to work.
Well, they skated through them real well in Game 2. I think I'll tell you what. The first goal on the breakaway, Lehner stopped it and it trickled in, and they commented on the broadcast the puck didn't even hit the back of the net.
It did not.
Right. The second one, same thing. He 3/4 made the initial save and it trickled through. the thing is, yes, they're not a hyper aggressive team. They certainly aren't the team that went up and down a track meet with Colorado for 7
They
games.
did. They did. They scored what? They scored 28 goals against Colorado.
Well, but no, I'm saying the team that the Knights are playing now is not the Dallas team.
No, yeah, they
No,
just
no.
they for some reason
They went back to
they
being the
decided to get
Dallas.
into a track meet with Colorado. I guess they thought that was the only way they could beat them.
Right.
And now they've reverted back to
The Dallas we knew.
like the second or third defensive best team in the NHL all season, and they've gone back to that style, and it's so far it's proven successful.
Well, but again, we're not big stats guys, but they outshot them 40-21, 40-20 if you know, not counting the overtime shot. So it seems like Vegas is carrying the play. They're you know, they got a couple of nice bounces, but you can't consistently outshoot teams 2-1, and Vegas has done that a number of times already. I mean, when's the levee going to break? Hudobin looked like he was hurt in the first period. You know,
when he made that stretch save, was it the first or the second period?
Maybe it was the second period.
I think it was the second period.
But he was clearly laboring.
And Robin looked like he took a shot right on the top of his knee.
Yeah, I think that's exactly what it was. Right, literally, he went down and it went inside the pad, and it looked like it hit him square on, because he was floundering like a walrus there at the very end. If the period wouldn't have ended, you know, if that would have been a minute or something like that, and there would have been prolonged pressure, there could have been big trouble right there, I think.
And that leads us to today. I've checked all across social media to find out if, in fact, who's in net tonight, and I haven't found anything. Have you?
No, I haven't seen anything yet. Unfortunately, the Golden Knights pregame show will be going live as we're talking, and they'll probably
everyone will know except us,
except us, because we're here talking. But like you said, Jamie Benn carried the day, and it seems like the Knights, nobody's taken the Knights on their back, except I guess maybe Shea Theodore. I mean, he's clearly been their best player.
Yes, he's been their best player. I'm not going to say defensively, because I think Whitecloud's been their best player defensively.
Yeah, he for a kid with 35, 40 maybe pro games, including the playoffs.
I think he played what, 17 games this season?
Right. So he has turned. I mean, if you would have said to me the beginning of the playoffs, by the third round, your shutdown pair was going to be Holden and
I would have told you you need to stop going to that dispensary on Paradise Road there.
But in fact, he really is, and they really are the D pair with the least amount of holes.
And I've always, previous to this, I've always thought that if this team, meaning the Golden Knights, had an Achilles heel, it was their defense. Now it seems like they stopped scoring. I mean, where is their offense? Their defense looks good. Now, is that because Dallas is not really creating quality scoring chances? That could be also. I mean, let's not get fooled. And people get fooled by shot totals. You know, especially in Vancouver, they were hitting Demko basically in his chest with most of the shots. They weren't getting in his eyes. They weren't screening him. All goaltenders at this level, even the backups, if they see a shot, they're pretty much stopping it. You know. So is this shot total thing? Yeah, of course the Knights are out shooting almost on a 2-to-1 ratio every game so far in Edmonton. But that doesn't mean anything, Eddie. What goes behind the red line is what counts.
For sure. But yes, shots on goal, shot totals, but they're also out chancing. They're out quality chancing them. They're doing all those things. I mean, are they still snake bit from Vancouver? Their shooting percentage has got to be I mean,
Oh, it's got to be
atrocious.
horrible.
Right? It's got to be atrocious. But
I'm not sure. I mean, I don't, like you say, we don't really look at stats. I mean,
right.
you know,
But
but
I
yeah,
think
that just seems that, you got basically the four corners and the 5 hole, but it seems like the Vegas shooters, for some reason, like the logo. They love the logo, Vancouver logo. This was almost like it was a bullseye. And when you're shooting pucks, you don't shoot for the center. When you're shooting a gun, you shoot for the center mass. When you're shooting pucks, you shoot for top 2 corners, bottom 2 corners, 5 hole. They don't seem to be doing that, and I just don't get it. And I hate to say this, but I don't see the passion on this team right now. I do see the passion on especially with Jamie Benn. He's on a mission.
Well, he had the best game of the playoffs for him. Him and Sagan were invisible for the entire Colorado series, and they were getting rung up big time by the Dallas media.
Right.
No goals, but that was unquestionably his best game. But we don't know enough about Dallas to really talk about him. We have to wonder. They talked about all the video they watch, and they have to get to the hard areas, and they've made better effort to do that, because like you said, if they see it, they stop it. So there's been better screens. The 1 goal whistle right by Stone, that almost ended up in review. This time it went the Knights' way, but Hudobin's a small guy, 5'10" give or take. They need to obscure his vision. There's no doubt about that.
Right.
And they need somebody besides the passion that Marchessault plays with every night. We know that. We need somebody to really sort of take them on their back and ride them through the rough spot. And they, like you said, they have to get a win tonight.
They'll absolutely have to get a win. And Ryan Reeves and that whole entire fourth line provides energy and passion, but they only get to play 9 or 10 minutes a game.
Right.
So that's nothing. We need somebody besides Marchessault, who, like you said, he's the smallest guy on the ice, got the biggest heart on the ice.
Right. He's relentless.
We need guys playing like that.
I don't know. It's a bit of a conundrum. I think that, are we going to get more juggled lines? We know that, what we do know, Nosek is out, and Cousins is back in. Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, Nosek looked like he really screwed his shoulder up.
Pete DeBoer actually answered a direct question about the lineups. It was kind of incredible. He was asked, and his answer was yes and yes. I'm like, listen, he didn't need to explain. The question is Nosek out and Cousins in? And he said yes and yes and walked off the podium.
Okay.
That answer is the most lineup information that we've got from him since January.
Since he got here.
Right, yeah.
Was that January 15th, I believe?
Yeah. Other than we know that it's his decision, that was like a state secret that just came out the day before a game. Right. I was like, oh, this is a something. And I don't think 3-1. Listen,
who do you think is more clandestine, the CIA or the Vegas Golden Knights? Or is it close?
I think it's fairly close, in certainly in different kind of ways, but we've known since the beginning that we are going to get. If we get a crumb, we're going to have to turn that crumb.
Yeah, you got to make a whole meal.
Yeah, we got to make.
You have to make that crumb into a whole meal.
Right, and listen, it is what it is. I would prefer not to whine about stuff that we know that we're not going to change.
I'm a firm believer. If there's things you have no control of, don't let it bother you. If you can't control it, don't let it bother you.
Yeah, this has been their MO since day one, and it's not going to change. And the trolls and the public say we want to, you don't have a right to know more. You ain't writing their checks. If you don't like it, you can give up your season tickets.
Right.
You can cry on social media, but that all falls into that big bag phrase that they opened up in round one, outside noise, right? It's all outside noise.
Well, I'm sorry.
Though outside noise got into the bubble a little bit, and that's what we'll use as the transition to the story that will never die. Started
Well,
out.
nothing will never die. It just doesn't seem to go away.
Oh yeah, it's like a bad rash. So a couple of days ago, the rumor mill. That's not even the. It was.
No, it actually was pretty reliable sources.
Yeah, I don't want to call it a rumor mill. I want to say that a former NHL player on his podcast said that he was told and that he had heard that the Golden Knights have a deal for Robin Lehner, 5 years, $5 million per, and that's pretty big news. Except that absolutely nobody can verify it, and the most reliable sources that we have in the Vegas media, and there's really only one that I consider to be a totally reliable source as far as media goes. That's Jesse Granger of The Athletic. Nobody can confirm it. The problem is that little outside noise creamed it. What's the word? Got into the bubble because at Robin Lehner's press conference, obviously he was asked about it. And he denied it up and down. And the thing that we're learning about him is he's kind of a guy that has no governor. He's willing to tell you the truth. And he said that he was irritated by people talking about things that they don't know anything about. And in his interview with Gary Lawless the day before, he continued to talk about his perception of being disrespected by a lot of the local media and the fan base that don't know him. Personally, I kind of agree with him. I mean, he never has really gotten an open arms welcome by the masses. I think the team inside the room is fine, but he's never really gotten a straight up fair shake because they're like, oh my God, our guy Fleury. And he was, in his tone, noticeably, I don't want to say upset. I want to say unhappy about not only, I don't think the fans as much, but he was unhappy about how the media, the Vegas media, has treated him since he got here. And he straight up called him out.
And I'll give you an example that even if you're not a hockey knowledgeable that you can relate to. Let's say you're married like 15, 20 years and you have this group of friends, other married couples that you get together with every now and then. Then all of a sudden you get divorced and you bring a new girl in and you try to kind of blend her in to this group of 5 or 6 couples, 10 to 12 people, and you bring in this new girl in when all the other wives loved your old wife, and
right.
Now you're bringing this new girl in. That's exactly what's going on here. Fleury is the wife that everyone loves in the group, and McCrimmon divorced Fleury and brings his new wife in, Robin, and tries to integrate her into this club or group that has been very, very tight for years upon years. It's just not going to go over well. And I will tell you this, based upon what Nick Kiprio said, and I believe there was one other very highly reliable NHL source who also confirmed that there's a deal in place. It's kind of what they said, it's in the top drawer. It hasn't, because I believe
it was Greg Wyshynski from ESPN.
Okay, I don't know this to be true, but I believe that if a contract is signed, there's a window where it has to be revealed. So Could they have come to an agreement and said, listen, we're just going to put this aside until after the season. We don't want to tip our hand because we don't want to announce this, because the rumor is it was signed in June before they even started step one, phase two. How would that look if you signed them knowing that the cap is going to be a flat cap to begin with? How would that look? You're basically saying we're going to show Fleury the door.
Well, hold on. The biggest problem with that is if they announce it, they completely devaluate Fleury's trade value.
Exactly. So and I didn't, he allegedly was brought here as a insurance policy in case something happened to Fleury. They weren't confident in Subban. So they brought Robin in as a backup. Well, guess what happened? Robin's not the backup. Fleury's the backup. Okay, and they did not want to tip their hand that they already had. I mean, in my opinion now, everything's starting to make sense now. They really brought Lehner in here to be the number one guy.
So you think that the significant slide in Fleury's statistics this year are really what drove the trade, not the, well, listen, we both have laughs about Subban. We know that he was never going to be the number two goalie.
The only one who believed in Subban, from what I can tell, was Dave Pryor. And okay. Dave Pryor was shown the door, and Subban left shortly afterwards.
Okay, so I'll give you two scenarios. The Golden Knights scenario is who's brought in to back up Fleury. That's
which now we know is complete bullshit.
Well,
Eddie is complete. I didn't believe it until this rumor came out, and I'm gonna say it's a rumor, but I think based upon who's reporting on it, I think it's very, very possible. It's not all. I think it actually happened. I think they have a deal in place, and I think their intention was that they were trying to ease Fleury out the door. So they didn't want to do it. The bullshit that we conferred with Fleury before we made the deal with Chicago. I got it. I bought it then. I don't buy it now. They didn't confer with him.
So right now you're saying to me that $14 million over 2 years, that the downslide, and it has been, all of his stats are down. They're appreciably down. You can't dispute that. So you're saying that they looked at Fleury this year, they knew that Subban wasn't the guy,
right?
And they decided consciously that they're going to bring in Lehner as Fleury's replacement, and that the whole backup thing was just another of those stories that we get from the VGK that have a couple of grains of truth in them, but are, as a general rule, fluffier and have a more casual relationship with the truth.
I don't know when they pulled the trigger on this trade, because he went from Chicago to Toronto first, and then came to Vegas via. It was like a three-way.
Yeah, that was all salary manipulation.
Yeah, salary manipulation. I don't know if that was the rubber stamp opinion before he got to town. But when he got to town, and he pretty much lit up the strip with his performance, he was 3-0, shutout, 940 save. They realized we got a gem in our hands here. And we got a guy who we can probably get for $2 million cheaper per year. He's a lot younger. He's
6 years younger.
6 to 7 years younger. He's a goalie of the future. We all know that Foley, McPhee, and McCrimmon are here to win now, and they saw this as an opportunity, and they haven't been their best in public relations with the firing of Gallant, and obviously this white elephant that's floating around not only in Edmonton but in Las Vegas. In my opinion, the only way you see Fleury playing in the Vegas Golden Knight jersey right now, if they lose today, maybe they put him in to try to salvage whatever's left.
Jumpstart the team.
Yeah, just something, because I think Fleury's gone. If the contract is right, I always thought, and I think you and I both thought, that what they would do is they would sign Robin and they would backload his contract in order to keep him and Fleury around. In other words, yeah, they would give him $5 million, but they might only give him $3 million the first 2 years, okay, and then pay him instead of 5, pay him 7 and 7 on the back end to make up to keep both of them around. But I don't think that's going to happen. I think Fleury's gone. He's probably going to. Here's what I think is going to happen. He's probably going to get traded to a team who is going to then protect their goaltender and expose Fleury to the expansion draft. And Fleury's going to wind up with the Krakens and possibly back with Gallant again, because maybe that's where Gallant winds up. That's my opinion. I hate to say it, but it hurts me to say that. But I think Fleury doesn't play for the Golden Knights ever again unless something either drastically happens or Lerner gets hurt.
Pretty unceremonious if that's how it came down. Yes, it's a business.
It's pretty. It's going down.
Where'd your background go?
I don't know. My backdrop just went. Okay, it's my green screen, by the way. It's going down, pretty much like what happened to Fleury in Pittsburgh.
That's an awfully bitter pill. That's listen. Yes, it's a business. But there's certainly ways. I don't know. What do we know? We could be talking all this, and Fleury could be the starter tonight, and we both can wear an egg sandwich on our heads. But I think that I don't know. I don't think it's done yet. I think that McCrimmon has indicated to Robin Lehner that his intent is to keep him on a long-term deal. And we both know that is something, because Lehner has mentioned it a number of times, between his time in Buffalo and the unfortunate incident that took place there and his time in Chicago, that he's been looking for the long-term deal and the security. And I think that McCrimmon saw enough in the 3 games. And I told you, after seeing the first couple practices when they were back in phase, was it 3 when they were allowed on the ice with the coaching staff?
Right.
Leonard, they were chirping when they scored a goal. Leonard didn't give up a goal in practice while I was there watching. I mean, literally, practice is 50 minutes. You didn't need a pen and a piece of paper to tap how many goals he gave up in practice. It was insane. And I suspect maybe that Kelly McCrimmon said, we want you to be the goalie of the future. And everybody says, oh, if it's true, they're stealing him at 5 years at $5 million. He could get 7 on the market. Now, here's a little economics lesson for everybody, okay? $7 million in the real world is $5 million in Vegas, because we have no state tax. So he could go up to a Canadian team and get $7 million a year and pay 49% tax, or he could come to Vegas and get $5 million and not pay state tax. And it's a lot warmer here in the winter than it is, So
I personally think the deal is done. I think the fact that they even brought him out in the bubble to address this is what I would call damage control.
No. You and I don't disagree about much. I got a lot of trouble with him coming out. You're saying that he bold-faced lied to us?
Well, no, he didn't lie, because what he said.
He totally lied. He said the deal wasn't done.
It's not done. It's a handshake. It's a handshake. I tell you this, that contract is either sitting in the top drawer of McCrimmon's desk or McPhee's desk, and everyone, including Foley, McPhee, McCrimmon, and Lerner, know that will be announced whenever this season ends, and hopefully it won't be announced for another 11, 12
3 weeks.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's a done. In my opinion, I'm going to go on a record and say it's a done deal, Eddie.
Okay. If it's a done deal, I'm taking you at your word. It's a done deal. Then they trotted him out there and they told him to bold-face lie.
No, because okay, let's take
Yes,
one for a
Joe.
second.
You
No,
can't.
no,
Joe,
it's not a bold-faced lie,
You
Eddie.
can't
If
split.
you
You
and
can't
okay,
split
listen to me.
hairs.
No, I'm not splitting hairs. If you and I have an agreement, and we have an attorney draw up a contract, but you and I have this relationship, we trust each other, but we have a mutual attorney draw up a contract. We haven't gotten to sign it yet. Do we have a deal?
You're making the tiniest semantic exclusion.
No, he can say and he will say when these rumors were swirling, my name was not on the contract yet. But I'm telling you right now, this is a done deal. You heard it here today.
Okay, so you're Robin Lehner, and this outside,
I'm not big enough.
yeah, me on your shoulders isn't big enough for him. But anyway, you're Robin Lehner, and this outside noise has made it into the bubble. It's everywhere. It's the biggest non-hockey story in the NHL right now. It's bigger than the draft moving and free agency and flat caps and all the other things that are going on. It's the buzz story in the NHL right now. The whole world thinks the deal's done. McCrimmon goes to Robin Lehner. He says, listen, we got to address this. I need you to say the deal's not done. Okay?
Okay.
So he comes out, and that's what he says. But you said the deal is done. So he lied.
No,
No, how could he have not have how could he have not have lied? If he knew that he got that contract was done and he said it's not, how is that not a lie?
because it's
Because the ink's not dry?
legally.
See, there you go.
Legally, it's not done.
Right.
Okay.
You should be
because I believe that you cannot sign a player without having a time window to announce the contract.
Well, you got to tell the NHL. You got to tell the NHL.
How would it look? Wait, Eddie, hold on a second here. How would it look if they were to announce this contract in June? What does that do to Fleury?
It makes Fleury worth zero.
Exactly. It's a business decision. We can't announce it now because we can get no value, or not no value. Oh, it is. Hey,
there's your panda.
Come back. See,
he knows we're talking about him.
He knows we're talking about him. As much as we like to say we love the sport, it's a business, Eddie.
Of course.
It's been a business since Bettman came and pretty much shoved the salary cap down everyone's throat, except for the couple of small market teams and they weren't going to survive without this. Well, they would have survived, but they would have never won a cup. They wouldn't have gotten a sniff because teams like Detroit, the Rangers, teams with money would have dominated. They would be at the top of the heap every year.
All right, so we're gonna close this disagreement. You think it's done. I think that they told him he's the goalie of the future and that this contract will be signed 1 minute after free agency is announced.
Eddie, you're splitting hairs. This contract is already agreed upon.
Right, agreed upon.
It's
right.
Okay.
All right, we got.
I'm going to tell you why. I'm going to tell you why.
No, we got.
I'm going to tell you why it's a valid contract, because if all parties involved, whether it was McCrimmon, McPhee, Foley, and Lerner all sat down and they came to an agreement, and then once free agency starts, which I believe is October 6th to 7th. 9th, okay. And Lerner starts taking off some other teams, his credibility will be blown if he's agreed to a deal and then backs out of the deal.
I think that this contract is signed with the blood on the dagger that was stuck through Fleury by his agent. That's my closing statement.
So you're saying the contract has already been signed?
I think the agreement has already been come to.
That's what I'm saying.
Right?
That's exactly what I said. But in legal genre, in legal terms,
but Robin Lehner's
valid contract because it hasn't been signed, the notarizer or the agents haven't signed off on it. But it's a done deal, and I think that's why Fleury's agent Walsh
Did
He
it?
knows it, and that's why he had nothing to lose by putting the DeBoer sword through Fleury's back. But now, when we think about it, it may not be all DeBoer here. It may have come from above. DeBoer may have been told, by the way, Robin's our guy going forward. So you knowing that, you make a decision on who you're going to play. But going forward, because how would Robin feel if you're a goalie of the future, but they keep him on the bench during the playoffs and let Fleury have his last hurrah? Really?
We're going to have to leave it at that because our timer is about to go off and the pregame show started 4 minutes ago. Game 4 starts in a half an hour. All right, it's prediction.
If you have to our listeners, if you have Fleury jerseys, Vegas go, hang on to them because they're going to be worth a lot of money because he's not going to be with the team next year. And you heard it here today, September 12th, 2020, in the most craziest year ever on earth. Even this crazy stuff that you thought what happened to Fleury in Pittsburgh would never happen again. It's happening to him again here in Las Vegas. Compliments of McPhee, McCrimmon, and Foley and DeBoer. Those 4 people right there.
Okay.
I got nothing else. I got nothing else to say, Eddie. That's it.
Game 4, you got to. It's not quite do or die. It's because it's not an elimination game, but it's prediction time.
It's do or die.
Okay.
They don't win today. Get the welcoming party back at McCarran Airport when they fly back in from Edmonton because they're done. They're toast. If they do not win today, they're toast because Dallas will just shut them down. Dallas will make the New Jersey Devils trap look like the Edmonton Oilers skating up and down the ice because Dallas will just shut that neutral zone down. Vegas won't have a shot. They have to win today.
Is it do or is it die? Score and winner.
Who's in that today?
No. Is it do or is it die? I need a prediction for this game.
Oh, I think they win today. This team seems to need to have their backs to be pushed up against the wall to respond. They responded in Game 7 against Vancouver. The only time this team never really responded was in the Stanley Cup Finals in 2018. They won the first game.
Got a score?
Yeah, and that was it.
You got a score? Don't steal my thunder. I got 3-2 Vegas.
I think our little munchkin down at the other end of the ice gets chased again, and we see the young kid. I think Vegas puts up 5 today. 5-2 Vegas.
So you got an over game.
I got an over game today. Yeah, they know they're going to open it up. They have no choice but to open. It's going to be an over game.
All right, I'm gonna stay with a clunky but 3-2 victory for the Golden Knights, and then becomes the best 2 out of 3.
3-2 does it 3-2 in overtime or just 3-2?
No, 3-2 straight.
So no open net goal.
Nah, no 3-2 3-2 for the money.
3-2 for the money.
3-2.
5-2. Bet the over.
All right, folks, if you like what we're doing, please, you'll get the link to see this on YouTube.
On YouTube, hit the
subscribe
button.
Hit the subscribe button. We're still a couple short of the 100, and we really do want to be legit. Hopefully, we'll have a game recap and some more hockey to talk about, and hopefully, this story will.
I'm petting Robin right now, so
right.
I'm giving him a little good luck for today.
Hopefully, the off-ice shenanigans will slow down, and we can get back to analyzing hockey games and doing what we think we do best. Please, YouTube, subscribe. We're going to probably try and do one live on Facebook for everybody and also on YouTube. So keep your eye out if you're a member of all the Facebook groups that we're in or you follow us on any social media platform. We'll let you know. We're gonna if these 2 old guys can figure out the technology, we're going to try to live stream one of these things. And hopefully you'll give us a click and a like, and we'll keep a chat box open so you can insult us or ask us questions or do anything you want.
You can insult us. It wouldn't be the first time, right, Eddie?
Oh, no. Okay, Joe Payne's got 5-2. I've got 3-2. We both got the Knights in Game 4.
And I got 5-2 and Fleury out the door.
That's a big prediction that's on video. Okay, 22 minutes to puck drop. We're out of here. Thank you for viewing, and don't forget to subscribe.